Just got again. God, please help me. Please help me. Okay, so guys, I just recorded a whole 15-minute video without sound. 15 minutes. Bond. Shit.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Welcome to Professor AJG's class. Today's class is about what laptop should you invest in next as a photographer. You know, different people come to ask me, Tolu, what laptop can I buy? Tolu, what specifications are good? Tolu, which one should I go for? Tolu, these ones are expensive. And I'm like, chill, there's only so much Tolu can do. All right, so basically today that's what I'm going to be covering. I'm going to mention 3 major things that you need to consider before you get a new laptop as a photographer. So just by the way, if you have not subscribed or ever shared my video, I don't know what you're waiting for, but please just share it. Professor AJG is begging, share my video. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so right into the video. What are the things, 3 major things you need to consider before you get your new laptop? Number 1, what do you need it for? What exactly are you buying the laptop for? Are you buying it as a photographer? Are you buying it as a makeup artist? Are you buying it to just be editing stuff and all of that? So you need to consider, you need to set your priorities right. Why exactly do you want to get the laptop? What purpose is it going to be serving? All of that. You basically just need to set that straight. So you don't necessarily, one thing I usually say is you don't necessarily have to buy the latest gadgets. Do you understand? So you can buy the best thing that you can afford, and it's not necessarily the latest thing in the market and everything. I mean, if you want to invest in luxury, if you have the money, because obviously Dangote's daughter, Adelike's grandchild, all of you just totally, you want to invest in all of that, no problem. If you have the money, please go ahead. That is actually going to be fine. So basically, I'm going to give an example for a photographer. If you are deciding that you want to invest in the latest MacBook Air for editing, trust me, you're going to be very frustrated at the end of the day, because MacBook Airs are not designed to actually run so many software very well. They do not do well with software and with different software. So you need to actually be sure about what gadgets you're purchasing, and you just need to do your research personally. If you decide to invest in MacBook, you can decide to invest in Windows. But if you decide you want to invest in a MacBook, the best thing you can do for yourself is get a MacBook Pro, not Air. Please don't get MacBook Air if you are a photographer. I'm still marketing myself as an ambassador for Apple. Do you understand? But all I'm saying is the MacBook Air is not the best option for photographers. So please make the wise decision of knowing what exactly you want to use your computer for before you get it. The next thing you need to consider is your budget. How much do you have allocated for this purpose? How much do you want to spend on your next computer? How much can you sacrifice? Basically, if you're the kind of person that has like a lot of money and you can actually buy the best thing that is in the market, by all means, if you have done your research and you feel that you can afford it, go ahead. As long as you are making a very reasonable financial decision, please go ahead and get it. Do your research, buy the best thing that your money can buy. It's not necessarily the latest brand, it's not necessarily the most populous laptop in the nation or whatever. So basically, and you guys do your research. Be sure that what you're investing in, what computer you're investing in, is the best that your money can buy. For example, a year and a half ago, when I was getting my laptop, I remember doing a lot of research and saying, okay, this is exactly what I wanted, blah blah blah. At first I started with the fact that I wanted a MacBook, but it wasn't within my budget, and it wouldn't have been a reasonable decision to eventually get any MacBook my money could have gotten, and then now maybe regretting the decision because the laptop doesn't serve its purpose or what I need it to work as. So I decided to go for Windows instead, and I got value for my money. I got more than enough. Like, I use a HP 2TB 12GB RAM Core i5, and it works perfectly well for me because usually I run 2 programs at the same time most of the time, and sometimes 3 or 4. So basically it works very well for me, and I'm really grateful for that. So I only have that now because I actually did my research and made the right decision. So please do your research and know what exactly you need to go for. The third thing you need to consider is the specifications. Now here you need to jot things down. Professor AJG speaking. Okay, so let's get right into it. As a photographer, the specifications of your laptop matter a lot. You need to consider what is best for your craft. You need to consider how fast is your laptop. Can it take this much software? Can it run this much software at a time? Can it do this? Can it do that? Basically, you need to consider all those things. So I wrote a few things down that you need to take note of when you're doing your research of getting another laptop. As a photographer, you need very large storage space. So you either need a laptop with large storage space or medium storage space plus a hard drive. But the thing is, even if your laptop has very large storage space, you still need to get a hard drive as backup, because any customer can just come out of nowhere and just tell you that, hello, please, I lost the pictures, can you please send it back to me, and something, and you cannot really shout. Gotta produce it, you have to give them. So basically you need to have your hard drive as backup. Anything can happen at any time. If your laptop should crash, you have your hard drive as backup. You have all your information. Basically, invest in a hard drive and large storage space. Basically, the Core i5s, i7s, i3s things. Basically, so the Core i7 is actually still the best. It's the fastest and actually works pretty well for all of this software that we use as photographers: Photoshop, Lightroom, blah blah blah, all of that. For videographers too, the same thing applies. And if you have enough money, you can decide to go for the Core i7. If you don't, you can go for the Core i5. The Core i3 is actually the lowest, but if you do have, if you're on a tight budget, you can get a Core i5. But if you can't get enough for the i7, if you can't get enough for the i7, go for the i5. You need a fast computer, and this will do just that for you. The Core i5 will work perfectly well, at least well enough for you to actually run your software on, like, at the same time. RAM space, 12GB RAM is actually a very good one to invest in. So my advice is that you should invest in at least a 12GB RAM laptop. You can go for 12GB RAM or 16GB or 32, depending on your money. As far if you're Aliko Dangote's daughter, please go, by all means, go with something higher, something that can do so much better for you. And if you can actually just manage, if you can actually just afford the average stuff like me, you can go for the 12GB RAM. It works so fine for you, and it's actually very affordable. If it's within your budget, please go for it. It's actually a very good decision. Yes. So also, a lot of people talk about how they prefer MacBooks to Windows. They prefer MacBooks to Windows. There are people that actually prefer Windows to MacBooks, but feel that because of the fact that Apple has they have very good marketing, they have very good products, their devices are actually very nice, and they are a reputable organization. But if you cannot afford to get a MacBook, please go for a cheaper Windows that has these specifications that will serve you in the meantime. If you decide you want to eventually get a MacBook, please go ahead. Even if you want to, it's not a problem. You can go for that, but just make sure that you are getting value for your money. I got my laptop, like I said, last year, or about a year and a half ago, and when I got it, it was actually within my budget and with all the specifications that I had. But compared to getting those specifications in a MacBook, I would not have been able to afford that at the time. So I went with the Windows. The downside of that particular Windows laptop that I got is the fact that the RGB rating, even though it's actually quite high to an extent, is not as high as the average MacBook. So photographers generally prefer MacBooks. The next thing, like I said, that you need to consider is the RGB rating of the laptop. The RGB rating matters a whole lot. When you view your pictures, you want to see exactly how it's going to appear on a phone screen or on somebody else's screen. So you need it to appear the proper way. You need to see how red your picture is, or how green your picture is, or how blue it is. You need to see the perfect exposure. You need to see what exactly you are working with. If your laptop has low RGB rating, you might have a lot of issues with that, because you might have to edit, send to your phone, check if it is perfectly exposed or perfectly graded, and if it's not, you send it back to your laptop, you have to check it again, send it back to your phone. Basically, it's a whole roller coaster of sending and sending and sending. And if you don't want to go through that, please invest in a laptop that has very high RGB ratings. I really hope that you guys invest in the best laptop that your money can buy. I am really hopeful for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So those are the 3 major things you need to consider before you get your next laptop. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, and comment in the put in the comment section, I stayed through. If you watch this to the end, just put it in the comment section, say I stayed through, so I would know who actually finished watching the video. You finished watching this video, thumbs up. This is amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for watching the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and share to anybody you feel like this might be useful for, to your family, your friends. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye.